Hey, we are back with another episode of the Viral Nation, episode number 25. In today's show, we're going to talk about the contest. We're going to take a look at Supercross, basically the 2023 season. We're going to go through all the different teams. We're going to take a closer look at Braden Spangle today, and we're going to give away some goggles. And we're going to tell you how you can win some goggles right here on the Viral Nation.
Wake up at 5 a.m. Gotta be at the track at 10. It's time to ride. All of this anticipation to ride in the Viral Nation.
Hey, so it's right at the end of the year. We're December 30th. We're only a couple days away from New Year's. Everybody here hopes you had an amazing Christmas. We hope that you have an amazing New Year. Go out, have fun, be safe, go crazy, burn stuff down. No, I'm just kidding. Don't burn anything down. And let's get ready for Supercross 2023. Lots of stuff going on in the world of Supercross. Obviously, the World Supercross thing now is a big thing, so that's going to be something that we're going to be looking forward to. But let's go back and let's look. Let's take a deep dive. Last week we talked a little bit about the Kawasaki team and what they had going on, but let's go back and look at all the different teams that we have. So first off, Supercross for this year. Let me go to my monitor here really quick. There we go. So this year we're looking at a bunch of riders that are some riders have stayed put, some riders have moved around. Obviously, the biggest one being Kenny. But let's take a quick look at Team Honda. Now, obviously, with Kenny's departure of Team Honda, it opened up a spot on the 450 team, and it looks to me, and it doesn't look to me, it has. Colt Nichols joins them after I'd say not a great year last year, right? Getting hurt right off the bat in round one. The guy is extremely fast. I believe he's going to be a guy that can run up front. He was always up there battling in the 250 class. He's got some time under his belt riding the new bike. He's been training and testing with Sexton. And the 450 team for Honda this year is going to be Sexton and Nichols. And I think that's going to be a ton of fun to watch. And you get down into the 250 class, you got Jet Lawrence, Hunter Lawrence, and Chase Hymas. It'll be interesting to watch Hymas. The kid's very good, obviously. He was runner-up to Levi Kitchen a couple years ago. He didn't quite have the run I think he was expecting in 2022, but it didn't stop Honda from bringing him on board, and it looks to me like it'll be interesting to watch Hymas as he comes along, and so that'll be a lot of fun to watch. Team looks good. I think we're gonna have you're gonna have some really, really dominant Honda weekends, especially with Hunter and Jet Lawrence, and as I said before, watching Hymas come up. Kawasaki Team Green, we always went over those last weekend, but you've got Anderson and you've got Cicerillo riding the big boars, the 450s. It'll be, again, like I talked about last week, I'm not going to go too deep into these guys because obviously we talked about them quite a bit last week, but I really believe that both these guys could be contenders up front each and every weekend. The biggest thing with Cicerillo is obviously staying healthy. As you go down through the pro circuit team, Shimoda, Haymaker, McAdoo, Faulkner, Reynolds, and Ryder DeFrancisco. So that's your team for the Kawasaki squad, the pro circuit squad. And, Kawasaki's been, and Mitch and the guys over there have done a heck of a job for years and years and years. And it'll be interesting to see how they fare this year for sure. As we roll down, you've got your Monster Energy Yamaha team. And obviously we have, Tomac after an incredible season that he had last year. And then Ferrandis, Ferrandis' last year was, I think he wants to forget about it. Obviously the year before, the outdoor national champion, he'd kind of got his feet wet in the Supercross. And I really thought that we would see him be, running up front, contending, battling Tomac. And actually, in all fairness, I actually didn't think Tomac was going to be as good as he was going into last year. And obviously Tomac blew everybody's doors off, right? And then, of course, Ferrandis was kind of underwhelming at best. Well, coming into this year, I think you're going to see a new Ferrandis. I think you're going to see him back to his form. And I think you're going to see a Supercross guy, a rider that really should be putting it on the podium each and every weekend. It'll be really interesting to see Justin Cooper on the 450. You know, I think a lot of people were not super excited about him for the Motocross the Nations team. I think they thought he was the weak link. And as it turns around, the guy absolutely stepped up and kicked everybody's ass. And it was super cool to see. And just personally, I like Justin. Don't know him really well, but he is just a guy that in all the interactions that I've had with him as he was coming up, but not since he's been on, not in recent history, but as he was first getting into the scene, he was always just a super nice guy. So super cool to see and super excited to see him on the 450 class. In the 250 class, though, you got Nate Thrasher coming back to the Yamaha team. You got Levi Kitchen coming back. Now, Levi Kitchen's a Northwest kid up here from Washougal, Washington area. Nick Romano's coming back, number 54. Styles Roberts has moved over now to the team. He was, if you remember last year, a Husqvarna kid. Jordan Smith will be on the team. He's also just moved over. And Hayden Deegan, you know, obviously everyone's kind of interested to see how he's going to do. I think he's going to, I forget what he's going to do. Doing futures, I believe. I think that's what it says here too, is he might do some future stuff. And then Guillem Ferres, 88. And he's a Spanish MXGP rider. And it'll be interesting to see how he does, just for the fact that, you know, there's not a lot known about him, but, you know, number 88, he got some points last year, and the kid should be fun to watch, that guy for sure. Rockstar Energy Husqvarna team, obviously the big change with them this year was Christian Craig. Malcolm Stewart's back for another season. Malcolm did really well last year, super consistent. Hopefully we'll see him battling up for, I'd like to see Malcolm get a win this year. I really would. I'm not 100% sure he's quite fast enough for that, but you know, in racing, when the gate drops, you never know what's going to happen. Christian Craig, going to have his full first year on a 450 in Supercross. Last year, he obviously spent a lot of time on the 450 outdoors with some very good results, very, very good results, running up in the top 2, 3, 4. It'll be really cool to watch him. Light team this year in the 250 class. They only are bringing in Hampshire and Swole. And I have nothing against Swole other than he's fast. Kick the crap out of me, right, all day long. But he just seems to be a tick off of the leaders all the time. And so I don't know what he's done over his off season, but let's hope that he's put some stuff together and you can start seeing Swole up there up front a lot more often coming into this year. Factory Red Bull KTM got Cooper Webb coming back, and a lot of rumors about Coop not being super happy. He did some off-road stuff, went out and raced locally, went out and raced with Chad Reed this year. I don't know if you guys saw that. That was pretty cool. Just some local track. I think that might even been an area qualifier. I'm not even 100% sure. Plessinger coming back, and I will tell you, I've met Aaron a few times, and one of my favorite riders on the circuit. He was when he was with Star, the year that he won a Supercross championship, we were down in Houston. I might have told this story before, but we were down in Houston, Texas, Arlington, Texas. We were in Arlington, Texas for autograph session. And if you don't have those work, the riders are contracted for 1 hour. So they typically show up, sign autographs for an hour, and when that hour's up, they bail. And there was a full group of guys. You had, Weston Pike was there from Suzuki at the time, and you had the full Star team, and I forget everybody was down there, but we had the Barn Pros team down there as well. And the line went out, it went round through the dealership, went out the door and around the building. I mean, it was one of the largest autograph lines I think I've ever seen. And so 1 hour comes up and all the riders stand up and start getting ready to leave, and there's still a lineup almost out the door. And it was one of the coolest things to see is Chris Aldridge, who raced for the Barn Pros team that year, and Plessinger stayed for another hour, right? And in that hour, they sat there and did autographs for everybody that was left. And I still to this day think that was one of one of the damn coolest things that I've ever seen. I should say ever seen, but one of the coolest things I've seen in racing in a long time. Seeing the riders understand that the fans are what pay the bills. Yeah, the factories pay them, and their winning does well. But if you don't have a fan base, right, it really is hard to generate a lot of money as far as a rider is concerned. Marvin Musquin coming back for another year. Hopefully we'll see him up front. Last year wasn't great for him, but it was great to see him when he came back. He looked outstanding at the MX Donations. So it'll be really cool to see Marv back on the track this year. 250 class, again, KTM going a little small. They got 2 riders. Max Volan, he is the son of Talon Volan, who I got a chance to race with back through my career. And then you got Tim Valley, 128. He was winning the MX2 title last year. Valley makes his move to America, obviously, and he's going to be doing Supercross and outdoors this year. It'll be interesting to see how he does. I'm excited to watch Volan because just knowing his dad, watching the kid grow up, and then of course he's had some just standout rides. He's had some stinkers as well, but hopefully he's got that figured out going into 2023, and he'll be a contender as well. Detroit Lee Designs Gas team, they've got 1 rider in the 450 class. That's Barsha. And with as much press as Barsha gets, they are getting their money's worth out of him. Because you know what they say in almost any type of advertising, it doesn't matter what kind of press, good, bad, or indifferent. As long as you're getting press, it's good press, and Barsha gets that press. Not only is Barsha, one of the most all-time winners of Anaheim 1, but he's also a kid that's always up front. He's always battling. He never gives up. And whether you love him or hate him, right, he brings a lot of spice to the sport. And so I'm pretty excited to see him at A1 this year. By the way, I will be down at A1 this year, and we're going to try to do our podcast Friday. We're not going to do it from the track. We're going to do it from the hotel room. So it could be a little janky, but we are going to do that. And we're also going to launch our contest at the same time. We got Pierce Brown and Michael Mosman both in the 250 class. I don't know if you guys were aware of this, but Mosman broke his neck last year, the second to last round of the Outdoor Nationals, and had a long recovery time. He really kept it on the down low, so a lot of people didn't know that it had happened. But he's coming back, and it's going to be a good year. And talked to his brother a little bit, very briefly, about how his brother was doing. He said he was up and riding and going good. So hopefully we'll see Mosman back in form and running up front like he was all of last year before he got hurt. And then you got Pierce Brown. And last year, he had some really good rides. I think his best finish was a 3rd overall. And it'll be really cool to see him this weekend or this year coming up. I'm not 100% sure if I'm a full believer in Brown yet. I know he's had some flashes of brilliance, but the consistency just really hasn't been there. And so it'll be interesting to see if he can get some consistency. Mosman has shown consistency. He's had some ups and downs and crashes and made some mistakes, but he's almost consistently up in the front. He's always putting in fast laps. He's always up there battling for the lead. So, but you don't see Brown up there doing that nearly as much. So it'll be interesting to see if Brown can make that happen. HEP Insurance, man, let me tell you, HEP and Progressive Insurance and the Suzuki squad have made nothing but waves all off season. And it is pretty awesome to see them doing what they're doing. Not only did they pick up Ken Roxon, which I think everybody in their brother knows about by now, they got Kyle Chisholm on board, but just a few days ago they picked up Shane McElrath McElrath, and he is, man, he can be a very solid top 5, top 7 guy each and every weekend. And, if he gets the right program around him, he could do some damage in that class. I think it's going to be super cool to see. Having Kyle there, Kyle's a longtime 450 West Coast guy, a 450 Supercross guy. He dropped down to the lights the 250 class for a little bit, and I date myself with the lights, didn't I? And I hate that term, by the way. And then of course Brennan Hartranft, and we all know what happened to Brandon. If you guys haven't known, he got a really bad crash, and is in the midst of a huge recovery right now. So we wish him only the best and hope that he gets a full recovery. In the 250 class, they got Marshall Weltman, number 50, and Dylan Schwartz. Dylan was with the team last year, so it'll be interesting to see how Marshall Wetland does. I know that he rode pretty well last year in the outdoors, and he'll be racing the East, I believe, on the new 450 where he goes back outdoors again on the Suzuki. Muck-Off Club MX, another team that had made some pretty serious waves by picking up Jeremy Martin. And Martin was with Star last year. He's been riding with the factory Yamaha guys for quite a while. And, to make that move over to them, I know I read a bunch of articles that they really made a push for him, and Star really wanted to keep him. But they ended up, the Club MX guys ended up putting together a really good program for him. And so that'll be super, super cool to see. Marshbanks is back. Lopes is back, and Phil Nicoletti will be riding with those guys as well. So it'll be super cool to see. Firepower Honda is out of Australia. They got picked up Dean Wilson over the year, which is, Dean was with Husky for a really long time, and it'll be cool to watch Dean. And I'm a fan. I know that Dean's going to be doing a Supercross only season this year, but I do follow his Instagram. I do follow a lot of the stuff that he does. And I am a fan of Dino, so I really hope that he has a great season. And, just doing Supercross only, maybe he can prolong his career for another 2, 3, 4 years by just doing Supercross only. In the 250 class, they're going to have Max Anstey. I believe he's going to be riding on the west side. And then they have Todd Wilson, who is an Australian, and then he'll be coming from and riding the east. And just if you know anybody at Firepower Honda, Viral Brand Goggles would love to talk to you guys. We have a distributor down in Australia, and we would love to work with you guys. Maybe if not this year, going into 2024. Let us know. A little shameless plug, right? Phoenix Honda Racing. Phoenix Honda is going to have a couple of different riders. I believe they're all going to be riding on the East Coast, taking home. So you're going to have Jace Owens, 62, Colin Parks, Cody Shockey, and Caden Braswell. But I do believe that entire team is going to ride solely on the East Coast. Tedder Racing, you got the Hill Brothers, which is going to be really cool to see those guys racing and have them both on the same team. I got to know Josh just a little bit over the years. And of course, Justin and Josh grew up here in the Northwest. Didn't know them really well. Knew Monty a little bit, their dad. But it's cool to see them coming back into the sport, especially Justin, who had some incredible rides over his career, and it'll be cool to watch him come back this year. Bar X Suzuki, they have a good program. We got Carson Mumford, Derek Drake, Robbie Wageman, and Ty Masterpool. The Solitary Yamaha team is another 250 West team, and they're going to have Theory and Thompson on the team. The AGE Motorsports gas team is going to have Mitchell Harrison, Jerry Robbins, and Austin Politelli. Oh, very cool. Politelli's been doing the privateer thing. He actually raced for us for a little while back at the Barn Pros days. And last few years, quite a few years, he's been riding the 450 class, and he's been riding on a privateer effort. So it's good to see Austin back on a team. That's very, very cool. So it'll be very cool to watch. That's kind of a quick rundown. Again, our riders that we've got coming at you, Logan Carnow does not have a team. He's doing his own privateer program with the OnlyFans Kawasaki. You're going to have Tristan Lane, national number 90. He's a 450 guy. He's doing a privateer program as well. Trey Viero, he is our 250 West rider. He's going to be doing the West Coast series on the 250. And I'm going to hopefully be able to get a little bit of video interviews with those guys next Saturday when I'm down there, and I'm going to play those on our next episode. So we're going to take a quick commercial break here. When we come back, we're going to take a closer look at Braden Spangle as he goes into the futures. He's going to ride a couple arena crosses, and we're going to go from there. We'll be right back after this commercial break. All right, so we're going to talk about Braden Spangle. So Braden is a Northwest kid. He has been running racing up here for quite a while, been racing professionally for quite a while, had some really good results over the years at Washougal and making the main events, but he has been on the grind quite a bit down in California. And I believe this is his first time actually going going and actually spending some time in California. So it's pretty cool to see. It's pretty cool to see him back, or not back, but actually doing the grind and getting some time on the Supercross tracks. And he's been posting a ton of videos, and inside those videos, you get a chance to watch Braden really progress. Actually, I watched his first couple Supercross videos, and actually it inspired me to give him a call and give him a little advice, some advice that I needed to pass on to my son when my son was racing that I just didn't do a good enough job on, which is some days you just need to take what the track is giving you and don't push the issue when you're practicing, because a practice day the only thing a practice day does for you is it continues to get your timing down. It continues to get you comfortable going in and out of sections, in and out of rhythm sections, hitting large jumps. And if you scrub it, if you make a mistake and you got to go 2-1 out of a section versus going 3 out, but you are able to go racing next weekend, it makes a huge difference. So I gave Braden a call, and man, watching his stuff now has really, really improved. So he has an Instagram account, Braden does. Braden also has a Instagram account. He has a Facebook account, an Instagram account, and he's got a TikTok account. And he posts pretty regularly on all those. And I would highly recommend you guys going and checking out Braden's profile. Watch his journey. He's going to be doing some arena crosses coming up in Colorado the same weekend as, I believe it's the same weekend as A1. And then he's going to come back down to California, and then he's going to ride some of the future events, which you should be able to see on Peacock this year when they start airing the races. So make sure you check him out, give him a follow, and he's a great kid to follow. Kid's working hard, so give him a good follow. Coming up next, we're going to talk about our contest rules, and I have lied to you guys repeatedly. I keep telling you that I'm going to get the contest rules up, and I just busy, don't get it done, and I really apologize about that, because it's one of those things that I really do mean to do. I mean to get the contest done, but I'm going to go through the contest rules. I will have them up, and I promise they will be up before the start of the next week's race. The rules are pretty simple. We are going to post. First thing you need to do is you need to like our Facebook, like our Instagram, and then subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to run this contest through this YouTube channel and through the comments below on each week's video. So on Friday, we're going to have next week's Friday's video. We are going to start the contest next week when the video drops. And once the video drops, you will be able to start putting in your comments of who you believe are going to be the top 3 in the 450 and top 3 in the 250. And they have to be in order. All right. The other thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to share our YouTube channel with 3 friends. That's all we ask. Share it with 3 friends. And the reason we want to do that, we're trying to grow our YouTube channel. We're trying to grow our visuals of that. And we're hoping that you will help us do that. Not if you're a rider for Viral Brand, or you just like the show, or you just want to win some free goggles, help us explode Viral Brand. If you haven't already done so, go ahead and subscribe to our page. Then you're already set. You don't have to worry about subscribing again. And then leave me a comment below, because that's where all the fun's going to start happening on race day. And then what we're going to do is you're going to see us once the video is posted, I will do social posts saying, hey, contest is live on YouTube at our YouTube channel. episode blah blah blah, episode 26 is what that next one's going to be. And then what you'll be able to do is go in there and put in your comments, first, second, third in order, first, second, third in order of the 250 class. So they got to be, you got to get the top 3 and you got to get them in order. And if you do that, you're going to win a pair of goggles. If nobody wins those goggles, we're going to roll that contest, those goggle contests over to the next weekend. And the next weekend, whoever wins could win 2 goggles, and then maybe 3 goggles if we don't have a winner, then 4 goggles. This contest is going to be good in the United States, in Canada, and in Australia. So if you live in any of those countries, you are able to take advantage of this contest coming up. We are going to have it online. I will have it on our website, and I'll have the rules posted. And I do apologize that I've said a million times I'm going to have it done, but I haven't got it done yet. But we're working on it. Coming up next, we are going to talk about, what are we going to talk about? Oh yes, we're going to do a quick story. So, this morning I got up and I go to MotoXDream. I'm on their Facebook page and I watch a lot of their comments, and Denny's done just an absolute awesome job of having the countdown to Supercross. And not only does he do a countdown of Supercross, he gives you a story from each one, right? And so here, let's cut over here really quick. We'll do this, and then I'll give you my story. All right, there we go. So this is his MotoXDream360 Facebook page. Now it is a private page, so you have to actually get registered to be on it. But if you're a moto guy and you want to join it, I'm sure he would love to have you on board. So as you drop down here, and there's a couple things we're going to go over here, but there's a couple things on here. You drop down here, you're going to see he's got 8 days till A1. Before that, he had 9 days till A1. And each one of these, he gives you a little story, right? He's like, well, I'll just use his story here real quick, but he, basically talked about Donnie was a privateer. He got 4th of the Nationals that year. And then Denny would go running with him. And of course, Donnie would kick his ass. And of course, he goes through the story and talks about it. Go to Denny's page. Go to MotoXDream360. Go register as as a member, and the stories are awesome. Next story up was this one right here, which is the 8 days till MotoXDream360, which is he talks a little about Miami Supercross with him and Denny, or Damon Bradshaw and him racing. Just a lot of fun. The other thing I wanted to bring up about this before I get into my story is that McGrath now, they're not only giving away a motorcycle for the fantasy league that I like to talk about so much, the Motocross Dream 360 Fantasy League. They're giving away a motorcycle, but they're giving away McGrath has actually autographed some gear, and they're going to have that available as well. So as you can see here, the King is going to have some gear to give away, which will be just super awesome for you to be able to get a chance to win some of his riding gear by playing the Fantasy MX game, which is just a ton of fun. I mean, it's not only does it gives you the opportunity to watch the races a little bit differently. Like you're actually rooting for guys down in the pack that are in your league. You really start to understand the sport a whole lot better. I've been around the sport my entire life, and I still feel like I have a better handle on it now, just because I pay way more attention to it because of the fantasy league. So very cool. So back to my story. I'm gonna leave the King's gear up here for just a second, and actually I'm gonna come back. And so in 2000 or in 1989. We're getting ready for the 1990 Supercross season. I'd gone down to California. Myself and Lance Smale had gone down. We were staying down in California, and Paris had an invitational race, and I somehow got invited to this race. And that year, Jean-Michel Bale, I believe Jeff Stanton rode a 125 at that race as well. And then you had Emig, you had Kehoe, you had Donnie Schmidt, myself, a bunch of different guys, and I was ripping. I mean, that weekend I was ripping, and I was running in like 3rd place. I was holding off Emig, I was holding off Kehoe, and I held them off for about a little over half the race before I started to fade out a little bit. I had motor mounts, and my motor came loose, but it was one of those weekends, right, where I was on fire. I was going really fast, and it was a big confidence booster for me. And after the race was over, man, I was super excited because the magazine guys were there. They gave away a briefcase full of money to Jean-Michel Bale. And I was like, man, I'm going to make the magazines. And the MXA, a month later, the MXA magazine comes out. I go down to the Safeway. I go pick up my MXA magazine. I look inside, and sure enough, there's a picture of me. And I was like, dude, I made the magazines for the first time. Except for the fact it basically said, Donnie Schmidt having an outstanding ride at the Paris race. It was a picture of me, and they had said that I was Donnie Schmidt. And what the funny part about it was, is Donnie Schmidt was actually beside me, but all you could see was part of his tire right behind me, kind of up on my head a little bit. He was wheeling into this whoop section. I was kind of skimming him, and I'll tell you, it's just the way the magazines work. It's just the way that my career always worked. You know, if you're in 10th place, you get noticed. You're in 11th place, you're invisible. Just like the Vet National that I just did. If I would have got 3rd place, I would have been in the history books forever. But I got 4th place, which means I got raced. So it's just funny. No, you know, I never have any hard feelings about it, but I do find it absolutely comical when you look back. I'm happy with what I did with my career. Everybody that races, it doesn't matter who they are. I've talked to almost everybody other than maybe McGrath or Carmichael, but most people they look at the racing career and go, oh, I wish I could have, I should have, I would have. And trust me, I've done that a million times. Before my dad had passed away, we were actually talking about that. And I was talking about the things that he and I should have done as a team, you know, to be a little more in the eye of the magazines, and a little bit more in the eye of the factories and that kind of stuff. But it is what it is. So coming up next, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back from this commercial break, we are going to talk about goggles, more goggle stuff when we come right back.
Just signed on with Viral, so I'm excited for going and try to get some race wins on Arena Cross and put on a good show.
And if I haven't had a chance to say this, you know, we talked about all of our Supercross guys, but we are super proud to have Mike Alessi on board with us for the 2023 season, for the General Tire Arena Cross season. If you haven't had a chance, you can check out General Tire Arena Cross. You can go onto their Facebook page. They've got an Instagram account. They're going to be on Fox Sports 1 this year. And you can check out Mike Alessi running our stuff each and every weekend. And, you know, he's been having a great run this year, you know, running. I think he's 3rd overall in points right now, got a couple hole shots, and, you know, running a 2-stroke, right? So the advantage with a 2-stroke is they're light. The disadvantage is they're very abrupt power. So when you are racing with a 4-stroke that gets traction across the flats and that kind of stuff, it can be a little more difficult to compete with those guys, and Alessi's battling it out each and every weekend on a 2-stroke. For all you 2-stroke lovers, you got to get behind Alessi. I think it's pretty cool. All right, so we're going to talk about our magnetic face foam. So magnetic face foam comes in 3 different styles, 3 different sizes. Now we talked about this, but it's one of those things that we are super proud of. When you look at our face foam, you have a 15 millimeter, an 18, and a 20. That's going to allow that to fit to your face. You can buy the aftermarket foam. It comes with a 15 standard, but you can buy the aftermarket foam, fit it to exactly what you want, right? That foam then can be changed out. It can be cleaned. It can be taken and washed. It allows you to take your goggle apart. You can pull your take your face foam off. You can then pull your straps off just like this. And now you have a goggle that you can wash. You can put it into the sink. You can clean it all up. You can pull your lens out. So let's pull this part off. Let's pull the rest of this strap out here really quick. So the strap just pops out just like that, and your strap is done. Now you got your goggle, you got your frame. There's not much to it left. You got your little clicker right here. We're gonna click that, pop the top out, and now your lens is out. So now you take your goggle. We're gonna take this goggle. We're gonna put it in the wash. We're gonna wash it up. We're gonna knock it off. We're gonna let it air dry. We're gonna take the foam. We're gonna wash it all up, right? We use Dawn soap. Dawn soap is what you're gonna want to use. You're gonna get that nice and clean, get all the soap back out of it so it doesn't irritate your face. Let that air dry. Take your strap, get your strap all wet. Put it in the water, a little more Dawn soap, put it back in there, boom, you're done. Let it air dry. The next morning you get up, your goggles all in pieces. First thing you want to do, you can store your face foam in it. You're going to then grab your strap, or your lens. You're going to pop your lens back in it. Now, I'm telling you, this lens is one of the quickest quick change lenses in the industry, and it is absolutely solid as a rock in there. Solid, right? You see there's nothing pops up. You hear some clicking, that's just the plastic on the outriggers, but that is solid as a rock. And no dirt intrusion. And then to put the strap on, you just put the strap. If you look right here, I don't know if you can see that very well. There's a little slit right here, which we have, it's patent pending right now. Put that in there and boom, right? And now within just a few seconds, you know, you have cleaned your goggles, you maintained your goggles, and you've now put them all back together and you're ready to rip. Want to change your goggles? Let's say you got a black strap. Let's say you wanted to go with a black strap with the cyan. We got that available. We got aftermarket straps available. You can match the gear. You can buy 2 or 3 goggles, take them all apart and mix and match the parts and customize your goggles. That's something that no other goggle company has ever done. We are doing it for you right here at Viral Brand. So we're pretty excited. We're gonna take one more quick commercial break, and when we come back, we are going to do a follow-up or a final part of our show, our final thoughts, and then get ourselves ready for 2023. The new 2023 goggle is modular. So the first thing about the goggle that you see is we have a new frame design. The new frame design is built to be taken apart and put back together again very, very quickly. So we have our new outriggers. Our outriggers feature a patent pending quick change goggle strap system. So you just basically pop the strap off and it comes off real quickly. And it gives you the ability to clean your lens or clean your goggle. It gives you the ability to change lenses very quickly to match your gear sets, and it gives you the ability to customize them, which is pretty cool. The next feature of this goggle is our quick change lens, which we have a locking device on the side. You click that up, click the top of the lens like that, and there you go. The lens is out just that fast. And we've worked hard on making sure that not only does the lens change quickly, but it also works very well in keeping the dirt out of your eyes. You don't get dirt intrusion inside the goggles. Put it back together, you put this little card slot in here, get the nose on, click the top, just like that. Click it down here, done. You just make sure everything is lined up, and then you click your tab right there, and now your lens is changed just that fast. So again, it's designed to make it easy to maintain the goggle, easy to change lenses from dark to smoke to clear. The next feature of this goggle is our patent pending face foam. And the face foam itself has wick layers, and we have the cutouts in the frame for the OTG goggle, but it also is magnetic, which means that you can change face foam just like that. So you come off the track, it's kind of wet, it's not going to be dried out before your next moto, but your goggles aren't really that dirty because you've just been sweating, it's been kind of dusty out. Grab a new piece of face foam, slap it back in, and now you're back on the track with a nice clean pair of goggles. We also make these in 3 different sizes. 15 millimeter comes standard. That's what when you buy the goggle, you're gonna get 15 millimeter. Then we're gonna have a 3-pack available to you, and you're gonna have a 15 mil, you're gonna have an 18 mil, and a 20 mil different face foams to be able to fit this directly to your face. So again, things make it easy to clean, maintain, and now also fit. And fit is one of the most important things that we've worked on since we started Viral Brand. The goggle strap is a 50 millimeter goggle strap. It is embroidered, has a one run of non-slip on the back, which keeps it from sliding back on the back of your helmet, sliding down or sliding up, and keeps the goggle in place. And then we have what's called our best fit challenge. And our best fit guarantee actually is the best fit is if when you buy the goggle, if you try it out, you don't like it, with the first 30 days, have your same receipt in there, put it back in the box, send it back to us, you get a full refund. And we've lived by that for 7 years. We only want satisfied customers, so it's been a really good program for us and for the customers as well.
And those are basically the features of the new 2023 optically correct lens. I'm sorry, I forgot to talk about that. So basically a precision optics lens that's in here. They come in clear, smoke, mirrored finishes. They have anti-scratch on the front. They have no fog on the inside. And the vision on these in your peripherals are really, really good. They're probably some of the best peripheral visions that you're gonna get on any goggle in the industry and fit in almost any helmet as well.
All right, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to talk real quickly about upcoming shows. So we are heading down to LA. We are flying out on Thursday. We're going to be down there. We're going to try to bring you a show from down there. I'm not 100% sure how that's going to work down there, but we're going to try it anyway. And from there, if nothing else, we might just go live on YouTube that day, talk a little bit about what's going on, the riders that we talked to. I'm going to try to do some interviews down there. Probably won't have those interviews till the week after, but that is our plan. So again, I know that everyone asks you to subscribe. We'd love to have you subscribe. More than that, we'd also like to have you leave some comments down in the bottom. So if you made it this far into the video, please make sure that you leave us a comment, just a thumbs up or anything to get some conversation happening. It really does help out the show. If you're listening on Podbean or any of the other channels, your Alexa or whatever streaming service you like to do, please head over to our YouTube channel at Viral Brand and find our episode and leave us a comment if you're liking what you're hearing. If you don't like what you're hearing, tell us what you don't like. Maybe we can change it. Ask us some questions. I got a lot of people that like to text me questions, right? Some of my friends and stuff that I talk to, but put them in the comments for me because that would really help me out with our likes and our growth of our channel. But it also gives people the ability to add on to those as well, because your thought might be something that is really important. We did rant of the week last week. We're going to save that for next week because the rant of the week that I have is about motocross trainers right now, and we're going to save that. I did motocross schools for 20 plus years, and I've got a lot of thoughts on the motocross trainers that are out there today. But other than that, we want to thank you again for coming and checking out Viral Nation, episode number 25. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and we will see you at the same bat time on the same bat station next week, coming live from Anaheim at A1.
Wake up at 5 a.m. Gotta be at the track at 10. It's time to ride. All of this anticipation to ride in the Viral Nation.